Adam Jones is my biggest idol, so a lot of that ambient but yet still aggressive stuff, and I kind of like the polyrhythms, and I think that's what kind of drew me into like kind of what we're doing now with like what meets the kind of the new age modern gent style. It's kind of more from the Adam Jones era, I think.
I'm Adam, and this is about you and your journey in music. And we'll talk about the band. But since I heard a lot about the kind of the coming up story and then into that album, so we can kind of pick up a bit more in detail after that. If that's cool with you, and then obviously I want to hear like what happened on your end, because I know your brother joined your band, right?
Yeah. Oh man,
I think
so many eons ago. It was I was the one that kind of got into music first. The rock and roll corrupted my soul, and then as it was dragging me down, I decided to drag him down with me.
There you go.
Yeah.
So because you guys grew up in a really small town, right? I think your brother said there's like 50 people in the high school or graduating class. Or
yeah, exactly. Like, actually, so we actually decided to come back home. We like literally live back to back now, just behind each other.
Wow, that's awesome.
So our town is like 600 people. 85% are probably over like 70 years old.
So you're the young kids who like causing mischief there in the town.
Yeah. Well, our kids are now. I'm just
your kids.
When I'm home, I'm usually home, doing stuff in the house.
That's awesome, man. Well, okay, so you grew up in a very small town. I can't remember is anyone else in the family doing music at all, or musical or creative?
Yeah, my dad and his side of the family, like his mom and her sister used to, play music together, guitar and piano, and then my dad was a drummer in high school. So I think rhythm kind of just sprinkled down.
Okay. And then were you like, at what age did you get into music? It sounds like, at least from what your brother was more into sports or was in sports, and then you kind of took him to play bass for you guys. But like, so you kind of started off in the music realm as far as between the two of you, correct?
Yeah. I actually what kind of piqued my interest was 5th grade joining concert band. And I started playing baritone, and it came pretty natural, and I really liked some of the melodies and rhythms. And then about the age of, 13, something like that, a buddy of mine got a guitar, and I decided to get a guitar as well. And we just started messing around, formed a cover band, started writing a few originals. The bass player couldn't make it. I asked Blake to step in, and kind of just went from there.
Yeah, and you guys I think the band was called Sequoia, from what I remember him saying. Yeah,
it was.
So you did that for a while, and I think he said something along the lines of like, you guys were mainly doing covers, and then you two started writing music together, and kind of broke away from the band, kind of split at that point, and the two of you really just kept going with it, right?
Yeah, the two other guys weren't jiving with like the direction that we were wanting to take it, which totally makes sense. They were more into the heavier, like Slipknot side, and Blake and I've been a Tool fan forever. So
got the shirt on.
Yeah, I know. I did an interview yesterday, and I was wearing my other Tool shirt.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Adam Jones is my biggest idol. So a lot of that ambient but yet still aggressive stuff, and I kind of like the polyrhythms, and I think that's what kind of drew me into like kind of what we're doing now with like what meets the kind of the new age modern gent style. It's kind of more from the Adam Jones era, I think.
Okay. And you guys were writing in that similar vein when you started playing, just writing the music together, the two of you?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't like the 7-string gent, but yeah, more of the progressive side, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to say. We were quite different. And then I remember one day I was we were playing with a band, and the drummer pulled me off to the side and asked if we were big fans of a band called Tesseract.
Mhm.
And I've never heard of them. And I went and looked them up, and I immediately fell in love with them. And it wasn't too long after that, I went out and got my first 7-string guitar, and we started. I wrote the main guitar riff for one of our songs called "Bull-eyed,"
Uh-huh.
and then we just started morphing and metastasizing into that realm, I guess.
Oh, cool. And because your brother wasn't the original, or he was probably the original singer of your band
Right.
of Saul, but before that he wasn't singing, he was just playing bass. And
Yeah.
then at what point was it when you guys started this project that he started to sing?
Yeah, it was odd. I think he was pretty uncomfortable with it at first. But then we noticed he was pretty natural singer, and he had a kind of a unique style, and the sound of his voice was really good. But there was a long time that we looked for singers, and every time we had an audition of someone, he's like, I could do it better. I could do it better. So then it just kind of like, well, then why are we even looking?
Right.
Let's just stick to it, you know?
Okay. And then yeah, so then you guys started the band, and what we're doing playing locally. I remember him saying something about you guys won some radio contest and you didn't even know about it.
Yeah, the very first time. So once we got it going and started writing, we caught wind of a drummer just north of us, like 15 miles. We were in high school still. Talked him into coming down, and he was a phenomenal drummer. And we wrote our first EP. It was like 5 songs. It was self-titled. We didn't really know. We just went to a local studio and cut it. And then like the big FM station in the closest big city, in Sioux City, Iowa, they had like a Sunday night local talent thing.
Mhm.
I don't know if we submitted it or someone else. They got wind of it, and we ended up winning an award, like the best something. And that's when we really started realizing, like, I think we just started thinking like, well, maybe we should do something with this, you know. But
Mhm.
I knew that I wanted to do music, because I don't know, I have like ADHD really bad. So
So do
like,
I. Like, yeah, I got to be moving a lot.
yeah, me too. And then like, especially like nowadays, I like being creative outside of music, doing a bunch of different stuff. And then I'm like, damn it, I got to go back to music and do this, you know?
Yeah. With I mean, from that, you guys were still in high school when that song started to do something on that radio station, or were you out at
Yeah,
that point?
yeah,
So,
yeah. The song was called Snow White, and it got a little bit of traction, especially in the Midwest, I would say.
mhm. And from
Yeah.
there, like when you graduate, was the band the full-time thing for both of you at that point? Like as far as
Yeah.
like you didn't I remember, well, he said that you guys kind of took a hiatus, but like before that, like when you graduate, was it like, okay, let's just run this band full, try to make this happen?
Yeah, yeah. I had a girlfriend at the time that led me up to Minneapolis. And I was actually trying to go to school, engineering school at oh man, not McNally Smith. There was another one, IPR or something like that. A really
College up
like,
there?
yeah, it's pretty prestigious for engineering and stuff. Because I knew, I mean, I've always wanted to do that kind of stuff. Um, but my grades were terrible in high school, and so I didn't get any scholarships. And mom and dad didn't want to co-sign any college loans because it was like 50K or something.
Oh,
So
sure.
yeah. So I just stayed back, and we just started pummeling music. Blake had a daughter, and there was a few kinks here and there, but yeah, throughout the years, we just kept rolling.
Mhm. And then, yeah, because he was saying you guys got jobs and were kind of put the band aside for a few years, right? 2 or
Yep.
3 years.
Yep.
And then what sparked it to get back together? And then I think that was with Enos, right? And then you had Brother, and it became like a big.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the years, we were still writing and performing, and we were trying to do things. It just wasn't where we wanted it or where we needed it. and then yeah, it was, man, I can't remember what year it was. Um, Blake decided, because we were, mind you, we were a three-piece
Right.
for all those years. So Blake was playing bass and singing.
Bass and singing, right? Yeah.
Mhm. And then we started having some serious talks, and he brought up that he thinks that the next evolution would probably be him just singing and getting a bass player. But he was such a phenomenal bass player, I couldn't see it happening until we met Will. We were partying at a party, and a mutual buddy brought him, and we got along with him. So we decided to have him come to the band. And then he's from Lincoln, Nebraska. He decided to move up our way, and that's when we decided to spend like 2 or 3 years of doing agricultural work, saved our money, got spent a lot of money and time working on our light production, got our EP Eons rolling, and that's where Brother came from. And then we had the opportunity to take it to radio, and that's when stuff in the meantime, I had met my wife, who had 2 daughters. Oops, sorry, someone's calling me.
All good. Yeah, so you said you got married during that time.
Yeah, and she had 2 girls already, so I was trying to, grow up a little bit, and we ended up having a kid, and that's when I had to pull her off to the side and be like, we have the opportunity to take this full time and stuff. Basically, when musicians have to do that, basically they're asking their spouse to kind of hold the house down financially. So it was pretty rough for a minute there, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, you guys have achieved so much now, and you're signed to a label, and you're putting out another album with tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, it drops at midnight tonight, which is crazy.
That's so exciting, man. Well, so that happens. I know you got some real love from like Sirius, Octane. I think you played it quite a bit, and from there, was that what led to the Spinefarm relationship, that you guys getting signed, or was that quite a bit later?
We dropped Brother, I think it was January 25th of 19, and by April 16th of the same year is the day that we signed the contract to Spinefarm. So it happened pretty fast.
Wow, that was probably a big moment, big day for you all.
Yeah, it was crazy how fast it went. And then, I mean, Brother lived on, it lived past they suggest about 6 months for a strong radio single.
Right.
And it lasted us the whole year pretty much.
That's amazing. Yeah. I was in radio for 15 plus years, and I've seen some of them. If you get lucky, you get into like the recurrent section where they keep playing the record for, after the cycle kind of ends.
Yep. Cause we signed with Spinefarm in April, and we decided to put out another single off of the album that wasn't released yet, Rises Equals, the song Trial by Fire, that November. But then it was, man, everyone was still talking about Brother, and kind of just, push that off to the side. And then we ended up getting number 5 best song of the year on Sirius XM Octane.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was unreal, because I remember we were all sitting down listening to it, because I wasn't familiar with it before we started rolling with stuff. And then we start hearing all these ginormous bands, and we're like, oh yeah, dude, we're totally not in this. And then we came in at number 5, and it was pretty unbelievable.
Oh man, that's huge. That is so big.
Yeah, it was cool.
And so you signed that contract in April, and then I remember you guys were going to do a big tour, or something was set up, and then the pandemic, stopped that all. But during that time period, where you already had the album done, and Spinefarm got involved after you guys had the record finished, or what? You said you signed in April after kind of Brother, but with Rises Equals, was that a product that was done prior to signing with them?
No, I think our whole intention was to try and get signed off of the EP. So we didn't really work on any new material. We were just like, here's the 5 songs, this is the EP. And once we started getting some attention with the single, that's when we, you know, we had interest from like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different labels or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But the cool thing is our manager at the time, Chris Dawson, he's the one that helped us throughout all this stuff, and he's the one that worked on the record. So
Oh,
then,
wow.
yeah. So he's a, you know, writer, engineer, producer,
Mhm.
and the record was pretty much done by the time we got with him. He did some flavors to stuff on the EP, and then when we signed, we set some time off to the side, and we just went down to his place and we put together the rest of the tracks for Rises Equals.
Wow, and was that the first time you had worked then with a producer, or was everything done prior to that, just you guys?
We worked with engineers and a couple producers here and there, but um nothing. This was a different experience because it was like a more modern take. I don't know. It was quite different
Mhm.
because then Dawson had he was in a band called Seasons After.
Mhm.
So his guitar player that was in that band, his name's Jimmy Beatty, phenomenal writer, phenomenal guitarist, singer. He stepped in and helped us with all, you know, the other tracks on the record. So it was interesting to work with like writers like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
kinda
cool to
having a
collaborate because
co-writer in that's seasoned in it all.
yeah. Definitely opened our eyes to different things and leveled up. And then we actually had the opportunity to work with Morgan Rose from Seven Dust.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He helped co-write our song Inside on that record. And then Eric Ron, who's a badass out of LA,
Uh-huh.
he's making a huge name for himself still to this day. And man, who else did we work with? Oh, duh, David Draiman of Disturbed for King
Oh,
of
no
Misery.
way.
Yeah. I can't believe I
Wow.
almost forgot that.
That's incredible. So then you get to work with these people, and then you put out the album in the midst of, the end of 2020. And uh from there, that's kind of where I caught up with your brother at. So like you put the album out, and then were you able to, like, what kind of happened after that? I mean, October, then what did you tour the album? Was stuff opening up at all at that point? Or how did that take
No,
you into the next year?
I think we got lucky because we live literally in the heart of the Midwest, and uh, not that people weren't taking the pandemic and COVID seriously, but I mean,
I guess if there's only 500-600 people in your town.
right. So we were still able to do some shows, some festivals. I mean, because we were at a point where dude, we almost went bankrupt because we couldn't do anything for a hot minute, and then we decided like let's start doing stuff,
Mhm.
because we were doing some like online, what do you
Yeah, like
even call them?
live
Yeah,
stream
like live
shows
streams and
or
stuff,
yeah.
which is all right. We were trying our best to stay active and keep people interested, but I mean, it man, I know the music is for people, but I don't know if it was the best decision for us to drop that right in the middle of the pandemic. I don't know
Mhm.
if I would do it different, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
I mean,
know.
that's rough. I mean, it's one of those things where no one knew how long that was gonna go for, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you had to make
I'm
like a game time decision. Like there's nothing else that do you hold it
I'm
for 2
still really
years?
bitter about that whole thing.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
I'm really
I
bitter about the COVID. That's a whole nother topic. But
bet. I feel you, man, for sure,
yeah.
100%.
But
Um,
we did have the opportunity to go out and support Atreyu,
oh wow, that's big.
um, which was an awesome tour. Ugh, it was not. It was bad. It
It
was.
wasn't an awesome tour.
Oh man, it was supposed to be a tour of a lifetime, but there was too many politics, and man, we like mask here, mask there. We couldn't get off the tour bus. Like we were told not to mingle with fans. We couldn't talk to anyone. It was
Oh
basically
wow.
like it was like prison style, and just button heads with some of the people on the tour, and it was just not.
Yeah, I mean, to be put, like, you're probably so excited, like, we get to do this Atreyu tour, like, this is gonna be insane, and
Yep.
then it's 100% not what you thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, the Atreyu guys, that camp, we appreciate everything that they offered to us and let us do. So I don't want it to come off as negative like
No,
that.
I'm not saying that to them, but I'm just saying in general, like, I could, if you finally get this, you're like, yes, we get to do this big tour, we're doing this big opportunity with the Atreyu, and then it's not we get to go out and see the fans and get together with everybody and make it more of like a family, like party-ish,
right. Yeah,
situation.
I don't know. We felt like the black sheep or something. The camaraderie wasn't there. I don't know. It was very odd. And but I don't know, we learned some things. But what really kind of sucked about that is kind of going back a little bit. We were supposed to go out and support Hell Yeah and All That Remains, and that got canceled because of COVID.
Oh, wow.
Which was a ginormous tour. And then that hit. We put out the record in October of 20, and I think it was that November into December is when the Atreyu tour started.
Okay. Yeah. So stuff was still pretty tightly locked up.
Oh, dude. Insane. And it's still insane how the world hasn't bounced back from, like, there's nothing worse than being a touring musician and like an oversized vehicle and everything is closed always.
Yeah.
And it's still like that. It seems like every city is shutting down by like 11 or midnight. It's so weird.
I just think there's not enough people that are willing to work and keep stuff open later.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
I can't imagine. Well, okay, so that was something. And then you guys, when do you start working on this album that's coming out today? Because there's a couple years there. I mean, was it just touring and supporting that album and just working on this new record? Like, what have you guys kind of been up to?
We were down in Nashville for over a month working on this album with Kyle Odell. So some things happened. We decided to take the record from, I don't know. It was, oh man, it's a bucket of worms with things. We changed management, and there was just a bunch of things that we didn't feel. I don't know. I felt like a lot of balls were dropped, and we were trying to pinpoint what was going on and what needed to change, because we're all about family and friends and business and trying to do business as good as possible. But if something is getting in the way, we have no qualms with cutting it off to figure out, because at the end of the day, if it's hurting our business, then it's not good business. We're moving. So we made some changes, and we took the record from our old manager, Dawson, who we're no longer working with at all now, and went to Kyle Odell. Man, I cannot remember the time frame when we started doing that. I think it was 22. We've been sitting on this record for a hot minute.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so we've had to push it back like 2 or 3 times now.
Okay. So during that time, you said you spent a month just working on the album, and then it was done. You guys have been kind of just like in this weird limbo period waiting to put it out.
Yeah, because the transition from taking the album to Kyle Odell and Dawson, then we were actually working with 10th Street management, and after we got the album done, we ended up moving on from those dudes, and we started working with Unchained management, which is like the legendary Steve Davis and Vaughn and Kenny and all the dudes that brought up like Cannibal Corpse and Kill Switch Engage and all the fantastic. So, and we're still working with those dudes, and we're extremely happy with them. So, there was a lot of political shit. Can we swear on this?
Yeah, you can swear.
Okay. Behind the scenes that we had to change. And, we were on the horn with the label, be like, we're not comfortable and confident putting this out and giving it the full push. So we need to change some stuff. And, you know, that's just kind of how it was.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, then you guys started working with Unchained. That's probably with the connection. The one thing I know about them is that's who manages Memphis May Fire, I believe.
Yes.
Unless they're still not, unless they're, yeah, I was going to say, I think they're still with them.
Yep.
Cool. So then you get everything. So all this stuff kind of happens and kind of what postpones the release of the album, it sounds like.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know if a lot of people know that, but I'm weird about social media, so I try and keep to myself with stuff. I feel like a lot of social media poisons the mind, but
100%.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I appreciate you telling me.
No, I mean, I do my fair share of social media stuff. I'm talking like the actual garbage. You know what I mean? The stuff that rots your mind.
Sure. Right. No, 100%. I was just kidding. Well, okay. So yeah, the album's coming out. Probably super excited. Obviously tonight at midnight. You got to do the tour with Memphis May Fire, and then the album's coming out. And what's going on from there? Like, since you've been sitting on the record for a long time, have you guys been working on new music that you're probably like, oh, can't wait to put, you know what I mean? Like, since there's been a lot of time in between.
There was a handful of things that didn't get to make this record that I think we could turn around and pop something pretty awesome out not too long. But honestly, we haven't really been like focusing on new music right now. Mm-hmm. It's been pretty crazy. Like the Memphis May Fire tour, I think, was honestly the best tour we've ever done. Oh,
that's awesome.
The camaraderie between like us and all the bands, Norma Jean, there was Secrets, and then Memphis. And we got to know Memphis, Maddie and Kellen pretty well, because they actually helped us on a song called Rain Fire that's actually on the new album.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's awesome. So, yeah, because I know Kellen's he produced the like majority of the Memphis May Fire stuff anyway.
Oh, yeah. The dude is a savant. He's such a talented writer and guitar player and singer and engineer. And Maddie is an angelic singer. You know what I mean? He's got melodies just flow off of him. So yeah, we got to know those dudes, and then it was awesome actually going out on tour with them. And it was such a good tour, but like, man, the very last tour date, our axle on our bus snapped.
Oh my gosh.
And that was in Memphis, Tennessee. And the bus and our trailer and equipment is still down there.
Oh my
And gosh. It's just, man, it's like one thing after another with things. So we're trying to get that together, and then we're going out with Red in September to support. They're about to drop a new record.
Yeah, I saw that's gonna be a big tour.
Yeah, I've been a fan of those dudes since I've started playing music.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
because you're doing like September and November. I mean, you've got a lot of dates with them.
Yep. It looks like we're doing a majority of September, taking the whole month of October off, and then going back for a majority of November, which is great for dudes with little kids, you know.
Right. Like I was going to say, it probably works out really well for you since you have kids and you don't have to be gone for 3 months.
Yep. I prefer that all day for mental health between us and the kids, you know. The kids,
sure.
My kids could, not even on purpose, but my son, he's 5. He could do a good job of like guilt tripping me. You know what I
bet. Like, yeah. My son does the same thing. He's 7 and I don't even really leave all that often.
Yeah, it's just all the kids will, FaceTime me, and then my wife will put the phone up to him, and he'll look to see that it's me, and then he just turns away.
Oh,
he won't communicate with me while I'm out on the road.
Oh man, dude, that's horrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is rough. But it is what it is. He doesn't know how to cope with his feelings, I'm assuming, is
right.
what that is.
I mean, he's still young, sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, oh my gosh. Well, congratulations on the album coming out tonight. Are you doing anything? Just chilling at home? Go next door to your brother's house at the backyard.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually at his house right now in his Saul room. That's where we like to do our interviews. But I think they'll probably, him and his wife and stuff might have a few drinks. I don't know. I've been sober for a couple of years now, so
Congratulations. I'm sober as well.
Yeah. Actually, after that Atreyu tour, I don't know if that tells you anything. Yeah, I had to. I lost my mind for a while there, so I've been sober for a while,
Oh,
which is good. I like it.
dude.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
that's
You as well.
awesome.
How long have you been sober?
A 16, no, about 18 months now.
Nice.
Yeah, since
Have you
January
noticed-
22.
Have you noticed a difference at all? Like your mental health better or
Oh,
anything?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the AA program and all that stuff. So that's been good for me and building kind of a community within that. I always thought it was kind of weird beforehand.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get involved in it, and you're like, yeah, these people are pretty cool. So
Nice.
I've been digging that.
Luckily, I didn't have to do that. I mean, I did cold turkey. I don't think I really had a drinking problem. I think it was more of when I get put under stress, like with certain things with that tour, I was drinking whiskey and I just turned so aggressive and so hateful, and I just didn't. There was too many problems where I was like, nah, I don't. That's no one needs that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, 100%. Oh, yeah, dude. I relate so much to that statement. But yeah. Well, congratulations on the sobriety. That's awesome.
Thanks, man. You too.
Yeah, it's definitely changed my life quite a bit. But and congratulations on the album, and thanks for taking time, Zach. It's great to be able to meet you as well, because I think when I interviewed your brother last time, like there's a couple of times during the interview where he's like asking you questions like off the video. Like he's like, I think it was, do you remember what time it was? And then like you guys it was pretty funny. So it's cool to like, you know, put a face to the voice in the background and
right,
you know, actually hear your piece of this all. And it's been a great time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. I, you know, not being the lead singer, I don't do a lot of interviews, but when I get to do them, I enjoy it. So I do appreciate it. Yeah,
you're doing an awesome job. I have one more question before I let you go. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Practice, and probably the most important thing is if you want to try and make it, like make a living out of it, learn the music business. So learn the business, learn the ins and outs. Don't trust anyone. And make sure you have a tight circle that you can trust.
Love it, man. Thank you so much. But it's, dude, the truth hurts most of the time.
Yeah. It is what it is, you know?
Yeah.